Hey, how's it going? Back with another video, so appreciate you for clicking on it. Now, we have the NBA trade deadline, which I feel like has gotten lost in somewhat of what's going on with it being the Super Bowl week and everything like that. The trade deadline is actually Thursday this week at like 3 p.m. It's been pretty quiet, but the Celtics made a move that I had to talk about because I kind of knew Brad Stevens was going to do something. We went through all those years with Danny Ainge, where he was Trader Danny. Brad took over. A lot of people wondered what Brad would look like as a GM. Brad Stevens is not afraid to make a move. So he made a move today that I actually like. So I'm going to talk about it, give you my thoughts, break it all down, how the player fits and everything like that. But once again, thanks for clicking on the video. Let's go ahead and get into it. So the Celtics got Xavier Tillman from the Grizzlies. They gave up two second-round picks, and Lamar Stevens. So in terms of the roster that they have, they didn't really give up much of anything to bring in a guy who I feel like could be a rotational piece, at worst, depth. Like if you need him on a night where certain guys might be out, you can insert Tillman and you'd be okay with it. So once again, Celtics and the Grizzlies make a deal with each other. A lot of people would say that the weakness of the Celtics was their bench depth, especially at the bigs, because you have Horford and Porzingis, who you have to be careful with throughout the season. They're not going to play all 82, of course. So you have to give them nights, especially back-to-backs. Those are two guys that you have to be kind of, open to sitting them on the second night. Then behind them was like Luke Cornett, who, Luke Cornett gives you something. He's not the most talented big, but he can deter some guys at the rim. He screens, he rolls to the rim. So he has a role. Then you had Keita, who's kind of like on a two-way, so he goes between Maine and Boston. And I believe he's also limited on how many games he can play because of the two-way contract, so he's not going to be available every night. Then after that, not really much else in terms of a big. So Tillman comes in. Tillman's 6'8", I believe, about 245. So he gives you a big body. Once again, he's not the tallest guy, but he knows how to throw his weight around, and I feel like that's a good deal for the Celtics. So when I look at him, kind of what he does with Memphis, this season's a little bit different with the jaw injury, Smart being out and all that. Tillman's role was a little bit bigger, and it might have been a little bit too much for him. I think perfect situation would be like a team with Boston where, how Porzingis likes to operate at the free throw line offensively every once in a while when there's a mismatch. You can actually do that with Tillman, because if it's a bigger guy on him, Tillman can face up, quick 1-2 dribble, drive to the rim and finish at the rim. Or if it's a smaller guy on him, he can do like what Porzingis does, back the smaller player down, a little half hook or whatever, and score that way. So I think that way, seamlessly, he can fit in. Where else he can fit? He's a really good screener, and then off the screen, he can roll to the hoop once again to get him in that free throw line area where you can get it to him. He's also a pretty good passer, so he can kick it out of that position. If you have somebody diving to the rim, he can find them as well. So that's another way that he probably will get used offensively. And then more so, I think last season and this season, he can shoot the corner three, but I don't think that's something you necessarily want him to do like 8-9 times a game, of course. But he can go out there, take 2 or 3 a game, knock down one. I feel like that's fine. I think maybe his biggest attribute might be work rate. He's a guy who He can go down low. So like I said, when he sets that screen, he rolls to the rim. Let's say Tatum or Brown decide to take a shot. Tillman's already crashing the boards. He can help you there. Defensively, he'll guard, fours, fives, maybe some threes on the wing. He'll be able to hold his own with, but it gives you versatility defensively, which is very big with this Celtics team. So I like the move. Like I said, didn't give up a lot for him. We'll have to see how Missoula uses him, how long he gets acclimated to the system. Also, one other one. If he is out there with a Porzingis, and Porzingis operates out of the free throw line, you can put Tillman on the baseline. When Porzingis faces up, Tillman can cut to the rim. You can lob it to him there, dump it into him. He can finish at the rim like that as well. And also on dribble drives. So let's say Porzingis was to set a screen for Tatum or Brown. They come off the screen. They're going to the rim. Defense collapses on him. Tillman will rim run, and he can finish that way. So like I said, he's a guy who dive on the floor. He'll get rebounds. He'll block some shots. He'll get steals. I think he's averaging like a steal and a half this season. So I really like the pickup. He doesn't make a lot. I think he's on an expiring deal. So this is a guy that, let's say Horford were to retire or something after the season. Tillman's a guy you could give a look as a big going into next season and maybe a few seasons beyond that. So like I said, I love the deal. With the trade deadline being tomorrow, I think Brad Stevens still has like 6 second-round picks to work with. He's got the Grant Williams TPE as well. So there's a chance that the Celtics might make another deal before 3 p.m. tomorrow. But even if it is just Xavier Tillman, I'm fine with that. Tillman has playoff experience. He actually had a pretty good series against the Lakers last season. The Grizzlies, I believe, lost in 6 to the Lakers, but hey, Tillman held his own. And most nights he was going up against AD. So, like I said, I'm interested to see how he gets used, but I'm excited for, like I said, the reasons I gave you, how he could possibly contribute on this team. He's not a selfish player. He doesn't need, 10, 12 shots, which I think is perfect on this team. He's willing to clean up on the glass and get opportunities that way. So, like I said, I like the move. You let me know in the comment section. How do you feel about this one? Once again, Xavier Tillman going to the Celtics, Lamar Stevens, and 2 second-round picks going to Memphis. Let me know in the comment section. Make sure to follow me on the socials up here on the screen. But I really appreciate you. Like I said, later in the week, I will do a video for the Super Bowl because it is this Sunday. Do a little preview, some picks, have some fun with it. But thanks again for tuning in. Really appreciate all of you. Like I always say, God bless, be safe. See you in the next video.